Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Spiritual Hangout. I am Leslie Damai. If you're new to the channel, big welcome. And if you're returning, I am so grateful to you as well. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a question from one of our Spiritual Hangout goddesses who tunes into the channel. I've known her for a while, and I was really blown away by this question, and I was so grateful that I am able to answer it, and I know it's going to help you as well. So here's her question. She says, I am struggling a bit mentally, and I'm feeling confused on where to turn with my journey. If you feel called to sharing any tips on how to really come to peace with observing the mind. Oh, I am definitely feeling called to sharing some tips. I love how she correlated the two. She correlated peace and confusion together because peace of mind is needed when coming to these transition states to ensure that we truly elevate ourselves. When we find ourselves in these crossroads, and this is what I'm kind of picking up from what's going on, there's kind of this transition state where we're shedding a version of ourselves, and now we're emerging from that. And you can either call it an ego death, or perhaps she had a tower card moment. A tower card moment is, when your life gets shaken up. So here's the tarot card, the tower card, and you see a tower there. It gets struck by lightning. And this is a blessing, because if not, you're stuck in that tower. You're stuck in that tiny room up top there. You're not really seeing the real world for what it is. So a lot of times these traumas, tower card moments, the lifting of illusions from our reality. So also coming to terms with realizing that our reality is not quite what it seems. This also kind of shakes us up and can afterwards leave us feeling confused. So this is part of the awakening process. When our illusions of our realities and thoughts, we wake up to them. Belief systems, ultimately all of these things, there are programs. And anyone watching, I want you to know that this is what programming is designed to do. So many people walking around, they're confused. They're sensing that something is off within themselves, within the reality. And a lot of people are either going to numb themselves, go back to old timelines. And I want you to know that it is confusing and that something is off and that this is not right, that we are literally living our lives from these subconscious programs. So all of these things are incredibly normal to encounter ourselves going through when we are spiritually evolving. It's part of the process. We must shut off the old. We must burn down the old ways that you're used to, that you've been programmed to believe. We must banish what is no longer serving us so that we can truly continue to grow and supplement this new foundation so that we can rise. So we will feed the new foundation that comes from the ashes of what has been burnt down, realized, what we've worked through. A lot of times when we're in this state, it's going to be that kind of sense where you're like, all right, I don't quite know what I do want next. I don't know where to turn. In this question, she says she's confused on where to turn with her journey. She's talking about her spiritual journey. But one thing we do know is what we don't want anymore. And so this is when we start to create boundaries. When we create boundaries, it's really empowering to our esteem. It shows that we love ourselves. It shows that we have respect. So I definitely do have some tips for all of you guys. And this is an amazing question. It could serve so many of us. And every single time we find ourselves confused in our journey, keep in mind, first and foremost, that it is because you are elevating. And now that you're in these new states of consciousness, it can be confusing once you reemerge to the real world. And with your relationships in your life and what you believe in and what you don't believe in anymore. So life begins to take a turn. And we now find ourselves with these new truths and our old ways. And what do? And here we are at the fork. So first and foremost, this is absolutely normal. And I cover a lot of this in my course, Deprogram Your Shadow. I really focus on how you can begin to observe your thoughts in the most conscious way possible. This will guide you throughout your shadow work, your meditations, and your self-healing practices so that you can feel comfortable being your own self-healer. Many times when we are observing our thoughts, we still have that voice in the back of our head, and it's not healthy. We have our egoic voice still chiming off. That's our programming too. Our programs will start to shoot out visions in our mind's eye, and they're all illusions. They're shooting off images of the past. We're making up fantasies about the future. And boom, you're sucked back into the chatter, fear-based scenarios of your mind in these thought loops when we're trying to meditate, when we're trying to gain some clarity. So I'm going to share with you one of the PDF soul work guides that I have in my course. It's the soul work for you to do on your own. And then you're able to come back to Deprogram Your Shadow, the course, and have a safe space to share your insights, any possible blockages, and I'm gonna make it available for you here. Again, my course is Deprogram Your Shadow, available at the School of Mysticism, a private community. And it's my life work in this course, and it's all about deprogramming ourselves so that we can continue to elevate and reprogram ourselves. So this is a beautiful way. It's like deprogramming and reprogramming yourself as we're doing this. And it's like almost like going back and forth like the ocean. The tide rolls out and then it comes back in. It crashes out to the shore and it washes back in. The same thing with shadow work and deprogramming ourselves. As soon as we let go of one of those layers, we're ready to integrate and we're ready to accept this new fresh stream of consciousness throughout our existence and ourselves. So here is the PDF. And I will have a link available at the end of the video. Go ahead and click that link. You can download it. It will be emailed to you. You keep this handy until you memorize it. Let's take a closer look. So it is vital to approach your healing in the most conscious way possible. It is advised to utilize this tool until your mind is rewired and your default mode embodies this list. After your healing session, go through the checklist and mark off what you applied using a 1 to 3 scale. So here are the different scales. And I want you to ask yourself after your meditation, after you're starting to encounter a shadow, when you're releasing an old program, was I self-compassionate? Was I non-judgmental? Was I the observer? You then go through the 1 to 3 scale and you mark off if you were a 1, a 2, or a 3. And take a look at these definitions. Self-compassionate, unconditionally accepting every aspect of yourself in a loving, understanding manner, especially to the parts of you that have been categorized as bad or unworthy. That is a shadow. Anything that has been suppressed because it is deemed socially not acceptable, or maybe you won't be loved. Non-judgmental, conscious of your thoughts, emotions, and sensations with complete openness, aware that every aspect of yourself is necessary and divine. Refrain from judgment. The non-judgment one, I absolutely love this one because I give the example, and I think you might be able to resonate with, think of a grandmother observing her grandchild at the park, messing around. The kid's playing a little too rough. He falls over. What does grandma do? Grandma runs up to the kid, grabs the kid, loves the kid. No judgment. She kind of knew it was going to happen, but she has to let him learn, too. The kid's okay, but the kid's shooken up. What does she do? She doesn't judge. She doesn't scold. She doesn't say, I told you. No, she grabs the kid with no judgment. And she's there for the kid. You can do that for yourself as well. You got to keep track of how well you're doing this. This is a practice. The observer, this is when you tap into your higher self, connected to your higher self, able to witness your thoughts in a neutral, non-judgmental, and non-attached state. Moment by moment, you observe and you accept all the sensations, emotions, and thoughts as something outside of yourself. You held your light. And that's what it is to be the observer. When you begin to do this in your meditations and throughout your shadow work practices, maybe you're doing rituals, all of this stuff, and you really nail it down, you take this with you in your day-to-day life. You are rooted into the reality, and your crown is able to just connect you to higher states, to pure love frequency. At the same time, you become a walking meditation. You become very conscious. And this channel is all about reminding ourselves to remain conscious. So I hope this soul work guide assists you, and I really hope you utilize it ultimately. This is key. Let me know what you think about it. Try it out. Let me know how it worked for you. Keep it handy at all times. Make this be a habit that you go to this checklist before and after your practices, and you check in with it, and then you go over it and you get to really reflect. It's all about self-inquiry. We got to understand these programs. We have to understand our mental thought loops. And I really hope this guide takes you to the next level. Keep going at it. We got this. If you're in a state of confusion, this is be patient. Be patient. You are going to blossom out of it. It's just that transition state. All right, my loves, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit that like button, share with anybody who would benefit from this, share the link to other people. I'm really just wanting to send this out your way. If you're willing to receive this, I really hope it guides you. And subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Check out the description below. I also had the link to my course, Deprogram Your Shadow. It's super affordable, you guys, super affordable. Let me know if you have any questions, and I can't wait to see you guys again.